Hello everyone, and welcome back to Star Trek Canis Major, a medical series campaign of Star Trek adventures using the rules by Modifius Entertainment. My name is ELH, the Game Master, and joining me are three individuals who will meet right away, starting with Matthew. Matthew, what's going on with you and who you playing?
Hello everyone, my name is Matthew, a longtime member of the ELH's channel. I am playing the Captain Zanet, a Denobulan, on his first command.
All right, Techno, same questions.
Hello, everyone. Yes, we're back. I am playing the first officer slash chief engineer, Commander Valera, and happy to be here. Let's crack on with another, no doubt, Romulan-filled episode.
No, I can promise no hidden Romulans in the session. I have done the Romulan trope. There are no more Romulans in this campaign.
That's exactly what Romulan would say.
I was about to say, Captain.
Interesting, he said there's no hidden Romulans.
There's public Romulans.
Anyway, Bean, what's going on with you?
Hi, I'm Bean_Goblin VT. I am just a little goblin. I'm playing Catalia, who is just a little goblin. Head nurse pilot. Nothing's going on. My head is empty. There's nothing in there. Thank you, everyone.
Is that in or out of character?
Yes.
All right, well, let's run that intro and then we'll get started. And welcome back. So as is tradition for my Star Trek Adventures games, I have the players do an opening log, and I believe Lieutenant Commander Valera has that honor today. So Techno, take it away.
You're muted.
As is tradition.
Tradition.
Let's try that again. First officer's log, supplemental. Well, we finally heard back from Starfleet after that mess that was our simple delivery to Cerberus 4, which can be paraphrased into, don't worry about it, we're definitely looking into things. But hey, good job, we guess. Can't say I'm particularly surprised. I'd like to think someone will get fired for what amounted to a complete omni-shambles so severe it makes the Romulan attacks on Outposts 4 and 8 in 2266 look like a child throwing a temper tantrum. But even if someone is fired, it won't be the right person. Talking of children, great segue there. I'm continuing to avoid the free Starfleet Academy graduates where possible. If my own logs on the subject don't reflect my attitude towards putting green graduates on a medical starship, I'm certain that Ensign Catalia's will. Although I will grudgingly admit, Catalia has proved herself more capable than I expected. Moving on. Due to the cramped conditions aboard the Canis Major, let the log show that I have assigned the Betazoid Lazral Mir to Koshlim's quarters, the Cation Manol to Nurse Shakratz, and the Vulcan Tahar to bunk with the ensign. Let the log also reflect that this is in no way an abuse of my authority as first officer, as I share a cabin with the captain. On paper, anyway. We remain on course for the colony of Alpha Adrani 3, where we will divulge ourselves of our guests and perhaps take some leave on what promises to be a veritable paradise world. Maybe I'll even get a chance to try some of their famed crab boar. I've heard so much about it, and it sounds like it should be amazing. Assuming, of course, I can trust Koshlim to stop making starshine in the plasma reactor manifolds whenever I'm not looking. I really have to do something about that. End log.
Very nice. You may have a momentum for that. And we do have a complication from chat, so I'm going to save that complication for a dramatically appropriate moment.
Thanks,
Oh,
Chad. It's been a while.
it's
Yeah.
Koshland making star whatever.
Starshine,
Starshine,
yeah.
yeah. All
Starshine
right.
on the warp reactor.
So, as is tradition, we're going to kind of start. We see the Canis Major flying through space at warp speed. And I'm going to give you all a moment to just role play, handle any scenes you want to handle before the mission is thrown at you. But as was detailed in the opening log, we do have 3 temporary NPCs aboard. We have Lasarl Mur, a Betazoid, he, him. We have Thaw, the Vulcan, she, her. And we have Manol, the Cation, he, him. And we talked about it before stream, and it's either going to be I'm doing all the voices or the players will just jump in and take over. We'll just sort of see what happens. We're collaborative storytelling here. If anybody wants the role, they can have it. But to start things off, I would like to focus in on Captain Zanette. So what is Captain Zanette doing at this moment?
So, as is often the case, Zanette is on duty on the bridge. Really, he doesn't take time off. He just rotates between a variety of different positions, considering the fact that he doesn't need to sleep outside of the sort of rejuvenative cycle that denobulans undergo every few months, I believe it is. And he's sitting in the command chair, running through a series of simulations of, I guess, piloting. He's slightly corpulent, but stocky denobulan, and he's kind of leaning back. He's got one of those denobulan grins on his face with his lips sort of spread and split wide, slightly beyond the limits of, well, normal humanoids. And are any of the other senior officers, such as they are, on the bridge at this time?
Their call.
I feel
I'd
like
say no for me. I'd be in engineering, I think.
I feel like I'm piloting, but also I'm listening to music at the same time, so I have earbuds in. Partly listening to what's going on. Like, I think I have an algorithm that if I get an order, it stops the music, but basically I am just relaxing while working as much as possible.
Not recognizing that and still looking down at one of those little display consoles by his chair, Zanette speaks to Catellia at the helm. I finally got it. It's taken me 17 separate simulations, but I managed to catch that Romulan vessel.
I have my earbuds. Sorry, sir, I was listening to something. What was that?
Oh, well, I've been running a variety of different simulations to just review the most recent mission to Cerberus 4.
Mm-hmm.
And I did it. I finally managed to catch up with that Romulan vessel that eluded me the last time.
And I feel like you're holding on to how many simulations have you done? 17?
Today, yes.
To
You'd have to ask the computer about yesterday.
and
And the day before that, and the day before that, and all the way back to
I flip it onto
2 weeks ago.
autopilot as I turn. And like if you could feel like I'm switching my badge from pilot to head nurse, you would be able to like just feel the presence. Like, and have you been using your leisure time for this as well, sir?
Well, I don't sleep, which for most people would be a very distressing admission. But considering that I'm denobulant, you shouldn't
But
worry, Ensign.
you do need to like relax, sir, like take time off from work.
I think that engaging in stimulating and intellectually productive simulations is very relaxing. Most people would go to a holodeck, but we don't have holodecks on this ship, so...
Computer, when's the last time that the captain's been off duty?
The computer replies, the captain has not been off duty in how long, Matthew?
Ever?
Ever. So
Technically?
the computer says the captain has not been off duty since arriving on the Canis Major.
I then quickly scan over denobulans and like go for like what would be a healthy like continuous workflow and like is this like a common psychological problem with denobulans?
I would
big.
say if I had to make a judgment, and of course, Matthew, you can override me here, but I feel like denobulans are either workaholics or they work their 8, 9 hours and then they just laze about. It's one of those things. Our only real example is Phlox, and Phlox seems to me like he's always on.
I can understand that, but there's also like Captain hasn't stopped working, and that feels like even though he doesn't need to sleep, he should feel like he needs to like
Chill.
stop. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Well, I don't think you appreciate how it is that we actually operate on this vessel. My break from being the captain is when I
More
assume my
work.
roles on my 8-hour shift as chief tactical officer, and then I take a break from my 8-hour shift at being chief tactical officer to being the chief physician for another 8 hours, and then when you put them all together, that's a day.
So when have you taken time for yourself, Captain?
I think that each of those is taking time for myself.
That's work, Captain. I don't think that counts.
You have to find the pleasures of a vocation, something that is you can devote yourself to fully.
Eh,
If you love your
I feel
job, it's like you're not working.
I feel like A, you're reflecting that back to me, and B, you're moving from the fact that I think you need to take a break, sir, especially since you've been hyper focusing on an event which has been a week now.
A week is not a very long time. I mean, for certain species it is, when they can only live 7 years, but denobulans, actually I don't know about goblinoids. What is your lifespan?
Average humanoid, it's just slightly above,
There you
depending
go.
on that. On our home planet, it's actually slightly below.
So, a week is nothing.
I computer, how many simulations has the captain run of this program?
The captain has run over 963 different simulations.
To be fair, the
Mhm.
first 100 or so, I only just broke planetary orbit before I recognized that I wouldn't be able to catch up with Romulans. So those don't really count. Those were just about a minute each.
I I'm glad we're going to a pleasure planet because I think I'm going to ask the first officer to take you off duty for a day.
I mean, if you feel that's necessary, but I don't think that's the case. And how can you not be energized by the presence of our delightful young cadets? Seeing that novelty, that shine in their faces, it makes a man feel young again.
Sir, I'm only 1 year removed from them.
Ah, you are young, aren't you?
Yes, sir.
Regardless, then shouldn't that give you motivation? Because after all, they're nipping at your heels.
My roommate currently doesn't want anything to do with me, and I quote, "It would not be logical to grow an attachment since we would not know each other for that long."
Well, that's just Vulcan demeanor.
Hmm.
They're a very emotionally sensitive species. They just hide it well.
But again, sir, besides the 900 simulations, what, like, I feel like you're overworking yourself, so I think you need to take a day off.
I can't take a day off. I can't yield or relent or rest or relax or take some kind of
Do
convalescence.
anything that mammals normally do to ensure their functionality and not be overstressed.
I think that's a really rather speciest way of looking at things. Why would you
Mammal,
focus on
mammals,
mammals?
well, we are both mammals.
Yes, but there are non-mammalian species.
Yes, but we're both mammals.
Be that as it may, I find the reference itself to be somewhat problematic.
But even if I use humanoid, there's sentient non-humanoid species. So by your logic, I can't even use that.
No, I certainly wouldn't use humanoid. That would be quite offensive to our Cephalus and Andorian crew members.
But I am talking about me and you, Captain.
Are you humanoid or are you goblinoid?
Goblinoid is a subspecies of humanoid. I
don't
thought
think.
you would.
How could that be when it's not? You're not.
Right, okay.
You're using
All
an
right.
anthropocentric term.
I am.
So how can it be a subspecies? Did you know about humans, but when you came
The
up with the term
universal
goblinoid?
translator doesn't use my native species language. In fact, the universal language doesn't work for me. I am using English because it's the language that I have been taught to be able
Well,
to
I think that
communicate
proves
with
my
you.
point.
Whistles and clicks don't necessarily work through the universal translator. It also doesn't get harmony.
That's unfortunate.
It does.
Yes.
It makes me say things that I'm not meant to, I didn't mean to say, or just generalizes my terminology.
I can only imagine what a nightmare that must be for like the Starfleet Academy Choir.
Yeah. But what hobbies do you have, sir, besides work?
No.
When have you last engaged in any recreational activity, sir?
Well, that would depend on
So
how you
sleeping doesn't count.
I don't. Well,
Your month of sleep doesn't count.
it's been. I'm probably due for that in a short order, considering how long we've been on this mission. I've lost track.
Well,
But
okay,
with respect
right.
to the question, none. I mean, like I said, my recreation from being captain is being chief security officer. My recreation from being chief security officer is being head doctor, and my recreation from being head doctor is being captain. And on that note, I agree.
I just turn around disbelief. I just like I just tap my ears and put my music back on.
The captain loads up
I was
another.
genuinely going to walk in about 10 minutes ago, but that was far too entertaining.
Yeah, that was amazing.
No,
The
you
captain
can
loads up
be.
another simulation and says, sort of muttering to himself, "All right, let's save a few seconds after that last time."
All right.
I feel like you did work in 10 minutes ago. You just sat there just like this is a weird conversation. I don't want to be in it.
Well, maybe it was something where Valera literally the doors open and there was no conversation.
I've got it.
And
No, I've got it. There's going to be a chime on the captain's chair, like
Okay.
an internal comm chime.
Pauses the simulation. Captain here, yes.
Captain, can you please stop running simulations? It's giving me a headache.
Why don't you disconnect from the?
Because I need to be connected to the computer in order to efficiently do my job, whereas you don't need to run 16,000 different permutations of the same mission. So,
You know, Starfleet is predicated on a love for the truth, which includes precision. It hasn't been 16,000. I believe that the precise number is 972 as of the one that I'm currently running. So, exaggeration, particularly in moments of crisis, is never helpful. Not that we're in a moment of crisis. Nobody here is in any kind of crisis whatsoever.
I'm spending that complication that a Talarian hook spider falls on top of Captain Zanette.
There
Where
is
did that come from?
there's a severe panic that ensues.
Okay, Captain, don't back your hands. It will go for you if you do that. Just stay very still.
what's happening exactly?
Talarian hook spider has landed on the captain. Wait, did one of the cadets have a pet Talarian hook spider?
No. Who
How
has a
is it
pet
on the
Talarian
ship?
hook spider? Why is
what-
there a?
That's academic at this point. Could you please
I'm
get it off me,
slowly
please?
moving over to get
Hell
the
no, I'm
Talarian
staying in
hook
engineering and closing the door.
spider over off the captain. I don't know what exact tune or rhythm would appease the Talarian hook spider, but I want to play something which will appease it.
This is a new one. Instead of the Pied Piper, it's the what is the scientific name for the spider? I'm ruining the moment, but either way, so you're Pied Pipering the spider off him. All right, give me a
I'm the Arachnidate.
there you go. There you go. Arachnid, that's the word I want. Go ahead and give me a control and a con, please, and you may use your focus of music.
Nice. What's the target number?
The target number is a difficulty of 1.
Excellent. 3 successes. Let's
3
go.
successes. Well done. That means you are now up to 3 momentum. Well done there. So yeah, Catelia, what is this Talarian hook spider doing as you play your music?
So I I play the music, at which point it just starts like getting his two front legs up and starts dancing.
This is worse.
I will then be able to just like grab it and then put it in the floor. I will then just put the music right next to it as it dances next to you, and I will just go get a cage to put it in. Wait, how computer, can you do an internal sensor scan for Tellurian hook spiders and eggs?
There are approximately 3 Tellurian hook spider adults and over 1,677 eggs.
You not like the way it said approximately 3. Koshlin, what have you been doing to the internal sensors?
I've done nothing wrong with the
Also,
internal
why do we
sensors.
have spiders in the vents?
I don't know. One of the cadets must have brought them in. It's probably
You
that
can't-
Cation. I don't like that Cation.
You can't blame everything on the cadets.
I can blame everything on the cadets. They're
the
new.
3 cadets.
Youthful hijinks. Yes, that's possible.
I con the 3 cadets, Ensign Catalia to the 3 cadets. By any chance, do any of you have any pet Tellurian hook spiders? Because currently they're loose on the ship.
And Techno, if I might indulge you, can you do the Cockney accent for Manol?
I absolutely can't. All right, Ensign. Yeah, that's probably one of mine, mate. That's
One of
that's
yours.
That's Australian,
How-
isn't it? I don't
You
know.
can,
Close,
you can
sir.
carry on.
Hey, it's an accent. It's at least as good as ELH's Sean Connery impression.
So what you're
Mhm.
saying, if you brought a breeding pair onto a Starfleet vessel and it now has over 100 young in the Jeffries tubes,
Breeding pair? No, mate. It's just the one.
there's 3 of them on the ship.
Nah, wow, they ain't mine. I imagine little Grabby's probably still in his little biocontainment unit.
Well, would you like to check that?
Yeah.
Because currently one's dancing on on the bridge.
Yeah, mate. What color is it?
It's blue.
Nah, mate. Little Grabby's red.
And then can you go check because there's some loose on the ship?
I'm like 2 steps from the cabin, mate. Yeah, give me a second. Ah, yeah, no, he's there.
Okay.
Why you got? What kind of ship has hook spiders on it that aren't in
I don't
biocontainment
know. That's
units?
why I'm asking the new elements on the ship to asking why there's hook spiders.
No, well, it ain't me, mate.
Well, since you're the expert, guess who's volunteered for rounding up the Tellurian hook spiders?
Oh no, not wild ones, mate. No, you don't go near them.
Oh, but you're the expert. Smile.
No, not an expert. No, I mean, I may be into the study of
I think
arachnids,
that
whatever that may be called.
you don't realize what an order is.
Oh well, you didn't order me, mate. That's the problem.
Okay.
Ensign, mate. Ensign. Yeah.
Well, this
I don't know
ensign
what
mate will
accent
like
this
you
is.
to round up the Tellurian hook spiders. You
Chat,
can ask
YouTube,
other people
Spotify,
how.
whoever you are. I'm so sorry for the accent. It's an accent. That's all I can tell you.
Eric's
Oh
Okay.
yeah, all right, mate. Yeah, no, you made your point. Yeah, let me look into it. I'll be on the bridge in a minute. I mean, it's like 2 steps away, so and the door's open, and in he comes. Oh yeah, that's a big one, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a big one.
Yeah. All right. All right, 1 tick, and he goes back to he heads off to the medical room and grabs himself a biocontainment unit.
Can I make a presence command to get the cadets to fix this problem?
Yes, you may make a presence command at a difficulty of 2 to remove the Tellurian hook spiders.
What have I got to do? Like daring security to assist or something?
No, you have to pretend you're your Lieutenant Vinta and Manol at the same time. That is your
I'm
punishment.
going to buy a momentum.
As punishment. You
Sorry,
want to hear
sorry.
more of this? Interesting.
I buy. I mean, I spend a momentum, not buy a momentum.
Mhm.
I get
That'll
2
be a
successes.
$10 channel donation if you want to buy a momentum.
That's 2
I know,
you got
subs,
your
by
2
the way.
successes.
I'm pretty certain that this is actually what the complication was listening to me do that accent. But So thanks for that, chat.
Yeah. But yeah, I basically
you brought this on yourself.
Get the ensigns, whether it's their fault or not, and also scrutinize them a little bit to see where these spiders come from. In fact, we've just got a good powers. Can I spend that on where the heck do these spiders come from?
Oh, that's a good question to ask with momentum. Yeah.
So, one presumes.
If the computer scans are correct, there's actually a crate of food down in the storage area, which is on deck 3, where let's just say somebody didn't properly bio decontaminate. So some Talarian hook spider eggs got in there.
Captain, I found where the Talarian hook spiders came from.
Oh, good. And you can see that he's just like sitting in his chair and he's running a tricorder scan along the arm where the hook spider was resting earlier on. Yes, Ensign, go ahead.
Somebody didn't do the proper decontamination on the food crate number 3. I believe it would be this ensign from the starbase that we're at. I'll just leave it on your desk because you'll eventually get to it because you don't not stop work.
Well, right now I'm disinfecting my arm, so maybe you could go down to the cargo hold and deal with that, or assign somebody to.
Certainly, Captain.
Thank you, Ensign.
Now it's funny because you actually start to stand up when the sensors actually beep, and it's not an internal beep; it's an external beep.
Report, Ensign.
I have to go back to the comms. I had it on autopilot. And maybe, cadets, could you just go deal with the food crate while I check whatever this beep is?
Do you want me to deal with the spider, or do you want me to deal with the food crate?
Well, you're one of 3 cadets. You can work between yourselves who does who.
Well, it is only logical that Benol handle the Talarian hook spiders that are currently matured.
Yes. There we go then. And I shall check what this beep is.
All right. So you look at the beep, and if your sensors are correct, and it's one of those things where this is such a rare thing that you like double and triple check, but what your sensors are detecting is something called a heliobenthos, or in common parlance, a space whale. And this is a whale that is in space, duh, but it is larger than even a Constitution or an Excelsior class vessel. And it usually is feeding on the corona of a star, but this one is just in the middle of interstellar space.
Adjusting flight plan, there seems to be a space whale, for lack of better terminology, in our paths, Captain.
What a rare phenomenon.
I don't know whether this one's warp capable, so do you want me to stop next to it so we can check why it's here?
Well, keep an appreciable distance to make sure that we don't disturb it, but yes, please.
I drop out of warp, so like we're medium range sort of thing, so we're not too close to it, but enough to get sensor scans.
Put it on screen.
Bloop.
All right. And Valera, you're going to get this information as well because you're connected to the ship. So what you all see is, I'd like you to imagine a whale shark. So kind of a big creature, one of the largest marine animals out there. But you want to tack in some elements of, for lack of a better term, a Talarian hook spider, where it has additional sort of appendages and tendrils, and again, is larger than any ship that Starfleet currently fields. However, the heliobenthos is usually kind of a bluish red color, but this one is entirely purple.
From what little I know about these creatures, usually when something turns purple, it means it's normally deprived of oxygen, or the equivalent of.
It could be some form of space whale equivalent of albinism, but could you perform some deeper scans, see if it seems to be any kind of distress?
Hi, Captain. Insight science roll? Or insight medicine?
Reason science? Hell, I could give you reason medicine even. The ship will assist you with a sensor's medicine.
Can I make a astrogation? Because these creatures are quite large, that would they have to be like something I would have to dodge or something?
I mean, they are a rare creature, but I'll let you use the focus all the same.
Yeah. And target number?
Target number will be a 1 on this one.
Alrighty then. I
Okay,
get
so
the
you already got the
one.
1 from there, and then if someone wants to
One.
grab Sensor's medicine for the show.
Do I grab that, or have you?
Sure thing.
Yeah. Okay.
And remember, the ship always has a focus.
Yes, I don't want
Thank
the
you.
captain to work because I've been berating them enough not to work.
All right, you get a
Hey,
momentum, bringing you
nice.
up to 3. So, a bit of good news, bad news, though it's not really bad news. The good news is that you can tell that the reason the creature is a purple color is because it has not fed on a star's corona in a long period of time. So that's kind of the bad news. The good news, though, is, well, it's kind of more neutral news, but the good/neutral news is the problem you're detecting is whatever the space whale uses to enter subspace. But it's something you can fix, but it requires you to go inside the space whale.
So, Captain, I can tell you that basically the whale hasn't fed on a star corona, so it's hungry effectively, and its problem why it's in the middle of deep space is because whatever it uses as a warp drive is broken. We can fix it, however, we're going to have to go into the whale. Which
I
wasn't there like
see.
a human book about that, Moby Dick, which was like somebody like living in a whale?
I think that human beings actually have something of a psychological fixation on entrance into whales. Somebody named
It was Jonah.
Jonah
Yeah,
and Geppetto
I thought it
and
was a story
Pinocchio.
about Peter
Yeah.
Pan.
Mhm,
Oh no,
mhm.
was it Pinocchio?
That's the one, yes. The
Hmm.
puppet coming to life. What a bizarre myth. At any rate, do we have a shuttle that's capable of entering the
I just
creature?
We don't have shuttles.
We don't have shuttles. Have
Lending
you?
more credence to the ensign's suggestion that you take some time off, actually, sir.
Yes, that would be a good idea. I think I'm coming up on my my regenerative cycle very shortly, Commander. Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
we would be
This is
able
all
to.
over the com, by the way, because I have locked the doors to engineering.
Mm-hmm.
Would we have to go in? Well, but the ship is too small to fit inside, or is too large to fit inside. Yes.
No, this ship is able to fit within its digestive system. It
I
is
don't
larger.
like where that is going. I'm going to
Well,
say
that's where we would have to go without making a decision, Commander.
we have transporters, ensign.
Looking at the issue, we would probably need the ship to be able to fix some of these issues. I mean, we can do what is equivalent to what it looks like a week's worth of work. I mean, it would be excellent extra credit for the cadets.
Yes, we wouldn't want to spend too long doing something, would we? As opposed to ramming a starship down a space whale's throat.
I mean, I'm just pointing out the information, sir.
Yes, I'd also be concerned about using the transporters, considering that we haven't actually mapped this creature's internal structure.
You spend momentum, you can.
On it, Captain. I spend the momentum.
There you
Yeah.
go.
Mhm.
So there is enough room that, yeah, if you want to get swallowed by the whale, the Canis Major will fit. But there also are a number of ancillary passageways which could sustain a person in an EV suit. You know, the corridors are wide enough, as it were. And it's one of those things where I'm just going to call it a nodule, for lack of a better term. The nodule that needs to be fixed is accessible both via the smaller passageways and one large enough for the Canis Major. So it's your call how you handle this.
I mean, I also have a third idea, Captain, which would be to effectively stabilize the warp field from the outside and act as like a guide to the creature.
Unfortunately, we would have to be shepherding it, well, for the rest of its life.
I mean, until we can get it to a solar system, and then we have a longer period to be able to look after it and do a more intense and long-term care.
I think that's just circumventing the problem, but Commander Valeria, what's your opinion on the matter?
Well, given the scant sensor data that we have, and knowing next to nothing of this creature's biology, I would prefer that we not put the ship down its throat. I think internal away team mission might be more successful, certainly in obtaining the more detailed scans that we need. And I think it would probably be better for the creature, again, if we didn't ram a starship down its throat.
Well, I was more wondering about whether you thought we should aid it by creating an artificial warp field and escorting it to a nearby system, or if we should conduct the surgery now.
Well, I mean, if it's just a case of feeding it that we're worried about, then we can vent some plasma from the warp nacelles, and that would be something that it could probably feed off if we calibrate it correctly. So we wouldn't necessarily need to do that, and it would stop it from, again, being overly stressed by propelling it through warp with no control. I'd be against the idea of doing it, Captain. I appreciate the input from the ensign, but I feel like it's probably premature to jump to that particular solution at this time.
I wonder if we might be able to leverage your plan to aid in effecting the surgery. There's no way that we can anesthetize a creature of this size, but with the right modification to the radiation that the ship is emitting, if we,
make it
fed
full?
it something, not just full, but perhaps some form of radiation might render it more docile, passive, without doing it any harm, just to make the procedure easier.
That's just silence while she's thinking. I mean, probably. I mean, again, we'd need to take more detailed scans to get an understanding of its biology to be able to do that. But yes, possibly. We could maybe ask Lieutenant Vinter or Lieutenant Shirakat to look into the details more accurately or more precisely.
Yes. I'm also somewhat concerned about any defenses that it might possess, an immune system or the equivalent, if we were to enter it as foreign bodies. We should make every effort to understand that element of its biology before we embark on any mission.
Frankly, sir, we should be looking to just understand it more completely before we embark on any kind of mission.
Agreed, yes. That was very close to repeating me, Lieutenant Commander,
No.
but yes, I think that it was. I don't need a first officer who just repeats to me what I already said. So come up
Very well,
with
sir,
alternative plans.
I will come up with alternative plans then, sir.
Very good.
Very good.
I quickly check while they're talking to see if anybody on the ship has like a medical degree, zoology.
No one on this ship has a medical degree.
No.
In megafauna,
Yeah.
mega space fauna,
No, just
Yeah,
full
I'm just-
stop.
cosmic cosmozoans, is that it?
If you have a
Okay,
bunch
so
of recurring characters, maybe one of them has.
here's
Yeah.
the thought. You could activate Koshlam, Shakrat, or Vinta and give them a focus in zoology. Though would it be xenozoology? Yeah, it would be xenozoology. That's a new one.
I think if we do, it would be Vinta, since she has not been activated out of all of them.
Okay.
Just to if we want to go down that route.
I mean,
Oh,
okay
she's
with
been
this.
activated
Oh god.
several times.
Oh god. Cosmozoan. Ah, that's what they're called. Okay.
So cosmozoology.
Yeah, I think it's cosmozoology. Mm-hmm. But you also realize that now Techno is having to voice Vinta. I just want that to be clear.
Yes, these are the necessary sacrifices that we must make.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we can construct a away team since, the commander is literally stuck in engineer. They have barred the doors, closed the vents, circumnavigated life support to be independent in two separate sections of the ship. As the cadets are like having an epic fight in the cargo hold with Talarian hook spiders.
Yeah, we quickly cut to the cargo hold, and we see this epic battle of Talarian hook spiders jumping through the air, and the ensigns just sort of phasering them, and they're shouting, "Logically, we should get rid of the crate first." Well, I don't know what you mean, mate. I don't know. I think this is quite a scrouser. I don't know what the word is. And I don't know.
It's a Cajun word.
It's a Cajun
word. There you go. But yeah, we just sort of see a fight going on deck 3, and then we just pop back up to the main decks.
The Betazoid is obviously like, I sense they're disturbed by something.
Thank you, Councillor Troy.
I sense the captain is overworked. I think he should take it off.
In any case, you activate Vinta. What does Vinta say when Vinta comes to the bridge and sees the space whale?
Oh my, that's a big one, isn't it? You
Actually,
asked.
I think it's an average size for a Cosmozoan, isn't it?
Well, I mean, let's not get into averages, sir.
At any rate, Lieutenant, given your experience with spacefaring life of this size, do you have any suggestions as to a best course of action?
Okay. I mean, obviously she'll have the same data that everyone else does, right?
Mm-hmm. But she can make a roll here.
I think I'd have to because, yeah, that's...
this for her is going to be a insight and medicine here. Difficulty of 2.
Aided by the ship in any way, or...?
No, this is just her going over the data in her head. Figuring out what would be the best course of action.
Now, she's actually got a focus in... I'm going to butcher this word. Anesthetics. Thank you. Yes. And dentistry. So I guess those would both also help.
They're all coming together.
It's all coming together. It's like we planned it. So I'm just going to throw a focus in there. You said the difficulty was what?
2.
Sorry? 2. And do we have any momentum?
You have 2 momentum.
Yeah, 2 momentum. Do we want to spend any momentum?
I think so, yes.
Yeah. Okay.
At least 1.
Let's just spend the 1 for now and just see what happens then.
Okay. I can offer you a success with a complication.
I mean, it's always complicated with her.
This is true. This is very true.
All right. Yeah, I'll take that.
So, Vinta, you're going to realize that going in EV suits and jump-starting the reactor, for lack of a better term, is probably the safest course of action. The problem is that you, of course, need to anesthetize the creature somehow so the immune system doesn't respond. And to do that, you're going to have to... let's just say your trip to your not Ryza planet is going to take 2 or 3 times the amount because of all the power withdrawal it would take. Basically, you're spending fuel to help the creature, but that means you can't fly as fast.
I can't think of a way to make that into an innuendo off the top of my head, so I'm just going to relay that to the captain.
Vinta not making innuendos, perhaps sick? ?
Well, are you able to ascertain as to whether it has any defense systems, antibodies, some kind of electrochemical defense in those regions? And this is really my way of saying maybe we should spend a momentum to ask the question as to whether it has any of these defenses.
I think ELH alluded to them. That's why we need to anesthetize.
Well, it certainly doesn't appear to be horny, sir.
I was drinking when you said that.
I mean, that's on you.
Yes, I admit that it's good that it doesn't have any sort of external protuberances that it could use to ram the ship, but I don't see why that's important.
I just thought it was worth pointing out, sir.
I suppose, but I mean, we can see it on the screen. It's clearly not horned. On the screen, it's just... Regardless. And he calms down to engineering. Lieutenant Valera?
Lieutenant Valera.
Well, Lieutenant Commander, it's all the same thing, right?
Oh, yes, sir, but I prefer the commander part of Lieutenant Commander. Never mind. Yes,
very well.
sir.
Commander Valera,
What can I do for you, sir?
well, I would like you to prepare some environmental suits to enable us to... He just sort of like gestures at the view screen, even though he can't be seen.
Penetrate the creature, sir?
Yes, Vinta, penetrate the creature.
Who is we in this situation, sir? Because I'm presuming we're going to need the very specific one for Vinta from the sounds of it.
That would be the case, yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Also, sir, you need to tell the Lieutenant Commander that we need to vent a significant amount of it to anesthetize it, or the way mission will be.
Yeah, I'm getting to that, yes. Also, the plan that we had discussed earlier on, I'd like you to liaise with Lieutenant Vinta and leverage her understanding of the creature's biology and the nucleotide signatures of the warp plasma that we have to release, etc., to attempt to anesthetize it, if you would.
Do I have to, sir? I mean,
I
yes,
empathize.
Sir. Yes,
Yes.
sir. I will get on that with Vinta.
Thank you, Commander.
And
Oh, you can
Lieutenant,
definitely get on me.
There it is. Yep.
I'm sorry. I just
Captain,
No,
okay.
thank you, Ben. Yep. If you hadn't done it, I would have done. Okay.
So
Yeah.
let's do some rolls.
Mhm.
So I guess someone's got to roll for Vinta because Tetno's rolling for Valera. This will be we'll call this a daring in engineering. Vinta can assist with a daring medicine on her part. I am going to set the difficulty here at a 4.
I got Vinta. Tell me when I need to roll Vinta.
Okay. And Vinta will have a focus.
Mm-hmm.
Will I have a focus is the question.
Let's take a look.
I'm looking at warp field dynamics, possibly. Not really.
Yeah, you don't really have a
I
good
don't really
focus
think
that
I've-
applies here. Like,
No.
So maybe she takes the lead and Valera assists?
that might be the way to do it, yeah. I think she's got higher stats than you as well, at least in this combination. No, you're both at 14.
Oh, so you're saying she's the top then?
Okay,
Yes.
I'm just going to stop drinking water.
I mean, I
just
don't know
going
what you're doing here, H. I don't know. Why are you doing this to yourself?
I don't know. Listen, I
Only
need to
drink
hydrate.
when they say hydrate, yes.
I think I'm going to need to at least spend the momentum we have for an
Okay.
extra dice.
I would probably spend a little bit more than that, maybe 1 momentum and 2 threat.
Yeah, I was about to say, can I do that? Because this is a slight as a supporting character.
Yeah, you can do that. Supporting characters can do everything that a regular character can do.
And I was more asking the party rather
Oh.
than rules-wise, if you see what I mean. Like, for me, I just spend threat. That's my character. Like, spending threat is good. Anyway, roll the dice. Oh
Whoa!
my goodness!
Do
Vinta
I-
came prepared.
She came, all right.
Yeah. Phrasing. Uh-huh.
All right.
I
Valera,
thought this
if,
would
if
be
you
an
wanna roll your
episode for one of the
assist.
main
I mean-
characters. This is Ventus episode.
Yeah, the rest of us are just here.
8 successes, which means you are back up to 4 momentum by my count.
Oof.
So,
Wait,
working
wasn't the
together.
target number 4?
Yeah, and you got 8 successes. So,
Oh yeah, we had 0. No, never mind.
yeah,
It wasn't
you're good.
adjusted. Ignore me.
So, Vinta and Valera, so to save Techno from having to talk to himself, come up with an ingenious plan. And what we see from an external shot is that the Canis Major, piloted by Catellia, sort of flies in front of the creature, and then the Bassard collectors begin to reverse and ejecting warp plasma in front of the creature. And the creature, its maw opens up, revealing an inner maw, and then an inner maw within the inner maw, and just begins consuming the plasma. And then after about 5-10 minutes of this, where you cut off the flow of plasma, the creature, sort of slows in its movements. It's still alive. It just sort of becomes a little bit listless, and then it goes to sleep.
Ah, it's like it's a natural bizarre collector. Like it's to Mars. Like it's almost a filter effect.
Yes, I suppose so. If facade collectors were 8 times the size of the ship
Organic.
and didn't go where you wanted them to.
And could generate warp fields themselves.
Other than that, identical.
I was talking about his mouth, not the entirety of its being.
I mean, by that logic, almost anything that's a scoop or feeder
I'll be
of some
quiet
kind.
about my
if it-
observations from now and just stain all inspiration I
No,
have.
it
Thank you,
just seems like a
Captain.
bit of a stretch. That's all.
I mean, it wasn't particularly sound from an engineering perspective. Is all I was
I
saying.
was just interested by it, but I
The
will not
morphological
pursue
similarities that don't exist, but
I will not pursue my knowledge ahead, and I'll just do my job, sir.
don't be like that. Lieutenant Commander, would you prepare an away team and, find a proper point of ingress into the creature or entry?
I appreciate the delicacy with which you attempted to word that, sir. I will arrange for Lieutenant Vinter and other members of the crew to transport over to the creature for medical assistance.
Yo, Vinter, we're going inside the creature.
Ooh.
I appreciate the decorum with which you have articulated that sentiment, Lieutenant Commander.
Verily, sir.
I think that throughout that entire conversation, they're just sort of like looking over to Benta.
Just sort of side-eyeing her, yeah.
Does Doff speak to their parental unit with that tongue?
At which point she does just say, "Oh, I do love it when you're good with your tongues."
Oh, God. All right. Well, obviously, Vinta's going, so my condolences, Techno. But Bean and Matthew, who are you bringing?
I'm willing to go as Catalia because I don't think the ship's going anywhere.
Okay.
But I think she's gone from like quiet contemplation to just tormenting the senior staff by making Vinta say innuendos.
Okay.
And I think I'll take Shakrat.
Okay.
After all, she has
activation for
biology.
Shakrat, so, all right. So we kind of cut to an interior view of the space whale, and of course, it is very much like, for anybody who's played Ocarina of Time, it is the inside of Jabu Jabu, and that's a reference that if you don't get, you're too young, dang kids, get off my lawn, blah 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 blah. Anyway, fleshy walls, also of a purple color. Just big enough for the three of you to exist side by side. And when you beam in, of course, in the environmental suits, you sort of both feel and hear a steady thrum. It's not unlike a warp core in that regard, but it's a little bit off. Where instead of a repeating pattern, it's kind of a little bit abnormal, where sometimes it skips a beat or it goes too fast. And even just listening to this creature, it doesn't sound right.
Well, normally I'm a fan of irregular motions of this kind, but this doesn't sound particularly healthy.
No, it's either got a heart condition or some sort of illness. Wait, I hope we don't have to fight macroviruses, because like if you could imagine if this thing had a disease, the I'm gonna be quiet.
Well, it's too late because I'm spending 2 threat, because guess what's
God
coming
damn
out of the
it.
walls is
God damn it.
a black spiky macrovirus that kind of looks like a sea urchin, and it just literally is tearing its way through the corridor walls. And we're gonna do a little bit of a personal combat here because it's a little bit of a fun.
Ooh.
Little bit of a fun, you know what I mean. So you got 3 of them in front of you. All of you would have your phasers, because that's standard issue. But the players do get to go first. What would you like to do? Actually, you know what? That's going to be the complication from chat. I get to keep that threat. Thank you, chat.
Cool.
Thank you, chat.
Can I go first? Because I have an idea.
Sure, what you got?
Yeah, shoot.
I look at it, I look at my phaser, I then look at my Starfleet issued medical pack, and I'm going to load hyperspace and I'm going to go into combat with antiviral hyperspray. Basically, because like it looks like a virus. It's just, it's just big, right? So what I'm
Yeah.
gonna try and do is just break its membrane to try just like um, disintegrate it effectively.
Disintegrate it using a injection to the mitochondria. Mm-hmm.
Yes, it is the powerhouse of the cell.
Yes.
The warp core of the cell, yeah.
Yeah, the warp core of the cell. There you go. That's how you say it.
Now you're thinking like a Star Trek person,
Can
individual.
can I make this a medicine
Actor.
roll, not a security roll? Because I'm
Yeah,
attacking
daring
with
and medicine, and the macrovirus will oppose. I'm going to give it
So-
1 additional die, but let me roll it first so that you know what your target number is to beat. Let's expand out that 40. It only rolled 1 success here, so you just need to
Okay,
get me
so-
1 or more successes.
Can I somehow justify feel this?
I mean,
I don't know how it would help me, but it feels like it feels medicine. I don't have the proper equipment to fight a macrovirus.
yeah, it's the difficulty isn't an increase because of proper tools or equipment, so
Anyway, I have infectious diseases as a focus,
it's a macrovirus, so yeah.
so I am strangely equipped, and I'm going to spend a momentum to roll an extra dice.
Okay. Well,
Woo!
I have good news and bad news for you. The good news is that you only needed the 1 success. The bad news is that there's a complication.
I would like to re-roll that.
How?
Actually, no, I'll keep the complication. You know what's more fun? Keep my determination for later.
Fair enough.
I have the value of life is most important. This macrovirus is killing it, but I'm gonna not spend the determination.
Okay. Well, roll untap potential. Remember, that's 1d20 underneath a 10.
Uh,
And it's
Is it
slash roll and then just space 1d20. Okay,
Nope.
I get a threat.
you get a
Yay.
threat.
So, Catelia, if you'll allow me to narrate for you for a second, you load up a hypospray, you lunge forward and kind of find a way to get your arm in past the spikes into the membrane of the cell, and you kind of do the ch noise, and then the creature begins to vibrate, and then it just sort of falls to the ground and starts disintegrating away as it is absorbed by the rest of the creature. However, the complication is going to be that you kind of pull your arm back and realize that your environmental suit has been punctured.
Oh no, that's not good.
No, that's not particularly good. No.
It's never good when your protection suffers a breach. So Shakrat is going to race forward and grab hold of the ensign's arm and attempt to sort of like seal the breach in the suit.
Okay.
Oh, are we in air or are we in liquid?
You're in nothing atmospheric at all.
Okay, so I'm just venting atmosphere. Cool. I just felt like we were like in like a vein or artery. So that's
No.
what I was
This is very much a Jabu Jabu situation where there's void, as it were. Yeah, Shakrat, if you want to give me let's call this a daring engineering and a difficulty of 1.
I would definitely like to assist as well if I can.
Yeah, you may also assist with your own daring engineering.
I'll give you a momentum to roll 3 dice.
Okay. Well, there's the 1 success you need. There's another one, you get the momentum right back. So, you are able to seal up Catelia's suit, so Catelia are no longer venting Atmo. However, it is now the turn of the 2 macroviruses. And as you know me, I am going to be diplomatic about it. 1 is Shakrat, 2 is Vinta, and 3 is Catelia. And I think that's 2 1s. So I think Shakrat, yeah, that's 2 1s. Shakrat, you are our lucky winner today. So, let me go ahead and roll so you know what your first attack is.
Are they coming in with melee, are they?
Yeah, they're basically trying to hit you with their spike. So that's not a crit, thankfully. So you only need to get 2 successes here, Shakrat, to avoid the first attack here.
Okay. I'll roll it straight.
Okay.
Daring security.
And you get the 2 successes, which means you can successfully counterattack if you so wish.
I think that I will, yeah.
Okay. And yeah, you, why don't you describe what you do to this cell? Because I'm interested what Shakrat would do.
So I think the creature sort of approaches. Shakrat is in the middle of just soldering onto the arm of Catelia, one of those patches onto the suit. The creature lances out with one of its kind of tendrils, much like the macroviruses that we see in Voyager. Shakrat pushes off from Catelia, puts distance between them, and the tendril kind of lances between them. She reaches out, grabs hold of it, pulls the creature in and kind of like brings them together, and launches a kind of unarmed strike that pierces the entirety of its kind of cell wall, more or less, and the thing just bursts into a miasmal kind of, I guess, goo.
I would
One
like to
punch
do
Andorian.
the classic sort of look out and then as I get kicked into the void.
So yeah, you 1 punch Andorian the remaining macrovirus, or the 1 macrovirus. Now the second macrovirus, I'm going to make it a little interesting. I'm going to give it 3 dice here, but again, its stats aren't the most amazing thing in the world. That could be a problem. Let's expand out that 28. That is actually 2 successes. So now I need to see 3 from you, Shakrat.
I don't think I'm going to be able to get that, so I'll just roll the 2 and we'll see what happens.
Okay.
I mean, we got 3 momentum. You can spend that.
Mm-hmm.
No, I think I'm good.
I think I will take the hit.
Well, yeah, and there's a complication. So, Shakrat, you're going to suffer 3 stress damage unless you wish to be deadly injured, because this is a deadly attack. So the way and again, we're sort of phasing in the 2E rolls here a little bit, and the PDF releases this coming Wednesday. So we probably be phasing more in next week. Or no, I guess we're off next week, the week after. So the way it works here, Matthew, is you have the option of either taking the 3 damage to Shakrat's stress, or you have the option of being deadly injured and you are out of combat and untargetable.
I think I'll take the 3 stress. That seems to be the more reasonable course of action.
Okay. Now, the other important thing I'll say is that the way 2E stress works is your stress does not automatically refresh at the beginning of every scene. There are built-in now rest systems to get rid of it, but in this moment, you cannot rest, obviously. So you're going to take that 3 stress, and what that looks like is one of those tendrils lances out. This time you're not able to grab it or dodge out of the way, and the complication is going to be, you guessed it, your environmental suit is now compromised.
Okay, I think that's a sort of lash across the face that breaks the flesh plate, so you can see the kind of spider web crack that has kind of appeared, and atmosphere begins to vent out to the void as she goes spinning off towards the wall and clatters into it.
Okay. So if I have my turns correctly, that means we have Vinta, and then it's the top of the round where the enemy gets to act again.
I did assist. Does that cause any problems as far as my turn goes?
Oh, that's right. You did assist. Then I think we have to go to the top of a new round, which means since the enemy just acted, it's the player's turn. So who among you would like to act?
Techno, if you go, since you haven't gone technically.
Yeah, yeah. Let's do that. So is there just the one left? Is it
Just the one left.
right? So I think she's just going to go straight in for a just phaser.
Okay, that's
think that
control
seems
security, difficulty of 2.
Mm-hmm. Not her. Oh no, those are the wrong stats. Oh no, they're even worse. Okay, let's see.
You do have 3 momentum if you want.
Yeah, I might buy. I'm going to buy one
Okay.
dice and just roll 3. I think
Okay.
she doesn't have anything. No. Well, cosmozoology. Could I convince you to turn that into the focus here?
No.
No.
When it comes to fixing the creature, yes, but
Sure.
against
Yeah. I just
them,
wondered. Oh well, she'd know how to shoot macroviruses because that's a thing.
Mhm.
No. Okay, that's fair. Here we go.
One success, but not a complication. All right. So the good news is that you don't hit Shakrat at all. So your phaser blast just kind of lances past the macrophage. But that does now mean, unless anybody wants to spend 2 momentum to retain the initiative, the macrophage is going to get another turn here.
have your turn.
Okay. All right. In that case, I am going to once again roll a 1d3, just to be diplomatic. Catellia, you are now our lucky winner. So,
Oh
Catellia,
no, I'm
I'm
just
going
a
to
little goblin.
make things interesting. I'm going to spend another threat here. Okay, that is probably a good thing for you. Let's expand all that 39.
Oh, that's
That's
not
a
a good thing.
crit
That's
and a complication.
okay then.
So, Catellia would need to roll me 3 successes on a daring security to not get hit here.
Can I use medicine again, or because I'm on the defense, I would have to use security?
You'd have to use security here.
All right, so focus doesn't matter. Is my suit still breached? Because I remember it was being fixed. I don't know if it was fixed.
It has been fixed, so you're no longer leaking atmosphere.
Okay. I'm just trying to think of how in the crapper I want to be and how. Oh, I'll just buy an extra dice because
Okay.
I need 3 successes.
Okay.
Huh, there's this new use dedicated focus?
So that's a 2e thing.
Okay, it
Which
just popped up.
this is so the original system got updated for 2e, but they didn't really make a determination whether you're performing tasking in one system or the other. So that's why it's there. That's a 2e thing.
Okay, I won't touch it yet. Alrighty then. Q, be with me, please. No.
Well, that is 2 successes with a complication.
That seems like a pretty cute roll to me.
Yeah, it
Thanks,
does,
Q.
yeah.
I also fell. How dare you?
So you also, Catellia, you can either take 3 stress damage or you can be considered deadly injured, whatever you'd prefer.
I will go with the 3 stress damage. I feel like that's the better thing in this situation.
Okay. Now, interestingly, both the creature and Catellia have rolled a complication. So you know what I'm going to say? The complications null each other out. I think that's probably a fair way to do it.
Oh,
So
we're both going
thankfully,
into the deep dark.
yeah, thankfully, your environmental suit is not damaged again, but it's not a good thing. This one macrophage is kicking your butts. But now it is the player's turn.
Yeah, if I may.
Yeah, go ahead.
Please,
Okay.
yeah.
Shakrat is going to draw her medical phaser. We see a return of that from the from
Help, it's
Fenrir,
on me!
and she is going to take a shot at the creature.
Control security, difficulty 2.
And I'll give you 1 momentum for that.
Okay.
Can I use a fitness con to assist? I was going to suggest an assist before I saw the roll.
Yeah, that is 4 successes, meaning you get 2 momentum back, which after accounting for chat momentum, I believe you're at 3 momentum overall. So yeah, Shakrat, you use your medical phaser, and do you explode the creature, disintegrate it, stun it?
I would say it's disintegrated. Right, so
Disintegrate.
she has been knocked backwards, sort of flailing slightly. Then she stabilizes herself, sort of banging into the wall, and she terminates her angular kind of momentum in the role that she'd been in. Draws the phaser, aims quite carefully amid the thrashing of tentacles and goblins, and then fires. And the creature, that beam lances out, and the creature just kind of denaturates and dissolves into the void.
Love it.
I'm so glad that Vinta didn't make a comment on tentacles and goblins.
It's time.
Anyway, I will then quickly rush over to Shakrat, noticing the large amount of venting, and try to assist. However, I'm not an engineer, so I probably won't be that much of an assist.
You missed the line. That was the perfect opportunity.
I'm a doctor, not an engineer.
There you go. All right, Catellia, and
Ooh,
if
I-
Vinta wants to assist, another
She'll
daring
come over to
engineering.
assist, and she'll take a look at the helmet. Says, "Oh, I do hate a messy facial."
Not the time, Vinta.
It is never the time, but I would appreciate any assistance before I asphyxiate.
So what was it again? Sorry, you're late before we talk
Before
about
I die
facials.
again, daring engineering difficulty of 1.
But asphyxiation could be so much fun in the right circumstances.
These are most assuredly not the right circumstances.
I'm going to
Ah,
buy an extra dice.
then we'll save that for later.
Try to ensure that my good friend doesn't die while also being talked about having facials and stuff. There we go.
There you go. There's your 4 successes, meaning you are now capped on. No, you're at 5 momentum overall, is what you're at.
Yes.
So yeah, what does the fix look like, Catellia? Do you literally pull out space duct tape and just tape over the cracks? Is there a
I
ceiling foam? What does it look like?
Feel like since my unusual large level of skill that comes to it, I take out some like what looks like clear plastic and tape around that. So even though it does obstruct the vision slightly, it is not as bad as if I just went. Zhik!
Okay.
Oh,
She sort of like raises her
thing.
hand. Go ahead.
It's a good thing the ensign's very good with their hands.
We all
That is-
are. We're all medical professionals.
I didn't realize
Yes,
that
but-
your medical training included fixing cracks in glass. Of course, mine included target practice, so
Well, it's better to prevent injury than to, have to deal with them.
I don't understand how fixing a crack in glass prevents injury.
We live in ships.
But it's actually transparent aluminum. Regardless,
I can't deal with you both at the moment. I just got to contact the ship and tell them about the virus. I will contact the ship, ensign to captain.
and you get a chirp back. Captain Zanet here, yes?
So, we've been here all of 5 minutes. We've already found the problem. It attacked us. Currently, it is suffering some sort of macrovirus.
You believe that the organelle that's responsible for its warp capabilities has been infected?
Yes, it has warp cold, sir.
Well,
It's a cold
You-
that can go faster than light, sir.
well, technically any cold can go faster than light if it's infected
On its
a
own
host.
accord, apparently.
Semantics. Regardless, Ensign, do you have enough antiviral medication to treat the creature and the source?
We're going to need some more antiviral when we get closer to it, sir. It took one hypospray to delete one virus.
Well, we'll begin preparing the necessary supplies, yes.
I feel like we're going to be running out of medical fuel. I hope we don't. Oh, wait, what's the food supply like? We haven't lost a large amount of it since of the hook spider problem.
We cut to deck 3 where the battle is still raging. At this point, the Caitian's uniform is torn, and he's literally like punching hook spiders launching through the air. The Vulcan is nerve pinching spiders, and the beta Z it's still there like, I sense that they are truly truly upset with their circumstances.
It would be logical if you would assist us with this issue in some way.
You ain't bloody helping, love. Just come on, pick up a pipe and start swinging it.
You don't need to understand its feelings to know to hit it. Which is like, I sound angry. The Vulcan doesn't sound angry, but as angry as the Vulcan's gonna get.
Mm-hmm. Oh, chat's got a good episode name: Spider Eggs, Tentacles, and Goblins. Oh my!
Oh no!
There you go. There's the name of the episode.
Oh no!
The Vulcan is mildly perturbed.
Yes.
Which is basically an emotional breakdown for them.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, we cut back to the main away party. Where would you like to go from here? The good news is you've already mapped the creature's interior, so you can just proceed straight to the affected organelle if you so wish.
Oh, does our EV suits have like the jet propulsion?
Yes,
thing?
you do have.
Okay, cool.
You have thrusters. Mm-hmm.
All right, cool. I start leading us down the map I made to the destination, and also make a full breaking plot. We actually have a BA plot today.
All right. So after about 4 or 5 minutes of just sort of adjusting your angle, following the corridor, eventually the corridor.
Lots of well-controlled thrusting.
Oh my god. Okay. Eventually the corridor opens up into a very large atrium. It's maybe about the size of an amphitheater that you would hold a concert in. And on one side, you see the organelle responsible for lack of a better term, warp travel, for faster than light travel. And it sort of resembles a beating heart. And again, the organ is beating irregularly, so it's not a thumb, thumb, thumb. It's kind of like a thumb, 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 thumb. You know, it's irregular. But what you also notice is that there are what appear to be some form of gelatinous pods next to this organ, which, as you kind of get a little bit closer, have smaller space whales in them.
So it's pregnant? I mean, Lieutenant Vinter, you're probably the expert on this.
Yeah, I'd like to assume she's just got her tricorder out and she's waving the doohickey around. Mm-hmm. Curious that they would put their young next to the organ that requires them, that allows them to travel through subspace.
That aggravated throbbing doesn't look very good.
No, I must admit the arrhythmia is somewhat concerning.
Maybe this is not actually the species child, but children of another species, some sort of parasite. I don't know. Do space whales have parasites?
Sure. I don't see why not, right? Can I scan for that? Because that's a reasonable assumption to make. I've got the tricorder out. So.
And medicine. And Vinta has a focus here. Reason, medicine. Let's say difficulty 2.
Okay. I'm going to use momentum, if you please.
Okay.
I'll take it.
And you get that momentum right back. So, good news. No bad news. All good news. Yeah, these are the creature's offspring, the space whale's offspring. And to answer your earlier question of why is it next to the warp core, quote unquote, that's probably the safest place for them. You know, it's very much in the middle of the creature. It's next to the warp core, so if there's ever any kind of bubble failure, you know, it's right next to the warp core. It's the most armored, quote unquote, so, you know.
It's also, I presume, how it harmonizes with its young to teach them how to travel through subspace.
I like it. That is now a thing.
Because I can imagine them like just floating in this like sort of pocket in the side of the thing and like engaging their warp fields, but not actually going to warp.
It's actually a very cute image, at least in my
like
eye.
a baby bird trying to fly out of the nest.
So looking around for more of these viruses.
Yes. And what you notice is that not coming out of the walls entirely, but sort of sticking out of the walls, are tendrils and other sort of phalange coming from what appear to be the viral infection that is infecting the area around the heart.
Well,
Um,
normally I like a bit of tentacle play, but this is maybe a bit. Well, I haven't prepared a safe word, so
I
I
would
said
say it's somewhat excessive.
it's a rather long safe word, dear.
You two are excessive.
I had not said anything that deserves that in the past 5 minutes.
I wasn't referring to you, Ensign.
You said you two.
No, you too, as in as well.
Oh, right. Okay. You went. Sorry. Anyway,
It's quite all right, Ensign. Regardless, this infection, there must be some sort of initial source. If we could localize it, then perhaps we could, well, cut off the snake's head.
yes,
No
maybe
offense.
we should.
I mean, I feel like I ought to take offense at that.
You're entirely free to do so if you wish.
Can we focus on the mission and deal
Yes,
with?
I'll leave
Because
aside my violent fantasies.
Oh, well, if we're talking about fantasies, I'm sure we can probably work something in later.
ladies, 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 please.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, that's right, Beg. I mean, yes, Ensign.
Okay, first off, you're going to be scanning the tentacles because I presume you would like to play with them. We're going to link that up to the ship to see how far flung this thing is. You have to watch her back, sadly. Yes, you have to stay near her to ensure that the viruses don't decide, to make her fantasies reality. And I'm going to scan the heart to see if the infection has got into its bloodstream.
I will very easily watch her back, yes.
Mm-hmm.
It is rather large, after all.
Size isn't everything.
All right.
I was going to make a point that in some cultures that's appealing, but I'll just go over here now.
I mean, it's a 10-foot long snake tail, I'm just saying.
Oh, trust
Oh,
me, in
is it
some
ever?
cultures it's considered appealing.
Oh, Lord.
I mean, mine for starters, but this is neither here nor there. I'm going to scan these tentacles now and get some very thorough readings of them.
And that is a sentence that has been said. Mm-hmm. All right. Well, I'm actually going to do something here that I don't normally do. I'm going to spend all 6 threat
Oh no.
to create a reversal. So what this means is Vinta and, of course, Shakrat helping you out. You realize very quickly that the infection is almost causing a sort of tumor where the tumor is producing more of these macrophages, but the tumor is too big for you to handle using hand phasers. This is something where somebody with a ship shot sized phaser is going to have to do some very delicate surgery.
While they're looking into that, I want to have a quick scan of the heart to see if the macrophage has got into its bloodstream, because I presume at that point it's going to get very deadly for it.
Well, the good news is that you can phaser away the macrophages that are here. And really the problem is if you phaser these things, great, it works for a little bit, but then the extra tumor thing is going to just create more and they're just going to refill.
So at the moment it's not deadly, but this tumor will be deadly.
Correct.
Okay. Well, I think Vinta should take the lead on this role play since.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. Just run me through that again because
Yeah.
we've got we've got a tumor basically with the macroviruses around it, inside it,
Being created
generated.
by.
Yeah.
Germinated, yeah.
Okay. That's next to the heart, not part of the heart.
Correct.
As in not growing.
It's in it's from what I understand, it's in the chamber on the edges, and the heart's in the center of the chamber. if I'm
Correct.
getting that correct.
Oh, okay. I had a completely different layout in my head, but that works better then. Okay.
And then veins and artery go up and down the
Yes.
chamber.
Mhm, mhm. Okay, so I'm just trying to work this one out. So, okay, so we're not going to have enough of the antiviral stuff to be able to affect the tumor, but we probably could get rid of some of the macrovirus.
Yes, you can get rid of the macroviruses themselves, but to get rid of the tumor, you'd have to use ship quality phasers to cut it out.
Mm-hmm. And as you said, this is quite a ways into the creature, so that's quite invasive surgery.
Correct.
Okay.
I presume Vinta divulges this information, A, because of the series of the thing. She doesn't leave the innuendos and stuff.
Yeah, that's how you know it's
Yes.
serious when
Yeah,
she
yeah,
stops
she's
doing
entirely
innuendos.
professional. Yeah. Um, yeah, so yes, she 100% just relays that information.
So I have an idea the commander's not going to like it.
Well,
Well,
I'm not entirely sure the commander likes much of anything, sir.
so, we've already removed the fuel, the most of the medical supplies, the food. What's removing our ship laser from a phaser from the ship and then beaming it here?
Well, I mean, putting a piece of equipment that large into something like this chamber is probably quite a challenge. But
I think it would be better than the ship entirety, but
well,
it
yes,
would
I was about to say I'm certain we could make it fit.
Is
I
that
am
really the wisest course of action, though?
Well, I mean, if we were to take what I've read out to you as as literally the only course of action, then yes. But I'm sure we could probably
the
was
only other idea I have is that this creature must have a birth canal since its young is here. If we were not necessary to induce labor but follow the same canal with the ship, would be a lot easier to enter this space than using the digestive system.
I think both of you are overcomplicating this situation. My skills with either a medical phaser, and she holds up the Type 2 phaser, or a starship phaser, are sufficient to allow us to conduct the surgery. We can cauterize the wound once we have opened the creature up and remove the tumor.
I'm just going to see how many meters/miles it is from the heart to the outside of the creature.
It is a narrative distance, but it is deep enough in that it will be a difficulty 5 control and security, assisted by the ships, security, and weapons.
Now, I'm not doubting your skill, but what I am saying is that this creature is pregnant and we want to alleviate as much risk from its health and also healing process as much as possible to ensure that it will be able to look after its young.
I'm also not entirely sure of the wisdom of forcing something into its birth canal.
I was thinking about performing heart surgery from the outsides.
I'm just saying, it's probably not best to do either of those things without sufficient preparation.
I could control the depth of penetration down to the millimeter.
Vinta, contain yourself. Vinta.
I just want you to know how professional I'm trying to be in this situation, Lieutenant.
I mean, she is making it so easy for you just to have a close smile.
I'm talking about the phasers. I can.
Mm.
No healthy tissue will be damaged outside of that which is necessary to reach the tumor.
What I'm saying is that if we perform surgery inside inside this chamber, it would do significantly less damage. And I was thinking about beaming in the ship's phaser to here, which is why the commander's not going to like it because it would require disassembling part of the ship.
Entirely sure how we power that either.
Indeed, we would need some kind of massive portable power system.
I just have a cheeky look at the heart. No, no, no. Shake my head out, an idea out of my head.
Can I take a quick scan of the creature and see if there's, I mean, this is maybe reaching, but is there any way we could leech power or like bioelectricity from the creature to power a phaser, hypothetically?
Hypothetically, yes.
Okay.
Now, what I will tell you though, is that you would be putting more stress on the creature. And it's already dealing with an infection, it's dealing with being pregnant. Do you really want to add more stress to that, is the question.
I mean, it's whether if it's physical trauma or energy from, you know, sapping for a bit. I think it's trauma in two different ways, if you see what I mean. This is more out of character than, in character.
This, and this is in character from Shkrat, this creature is remarkably complex and healthy, except for the infection. Could we not hyperstimulate its own immune system, allow it to fight off the viral infection on its own terms, equip it with a better weapon system, in a sense?
We haven't deployed all the antivirals. We could do that as well as making an antiviral bomb and place that within the middle of the tumor so that it would damage it enough that the immune system would be able to take care of it.
I suppose there's some.
I don't mean an actual bomb. I mean like an aerosol release.
Well, yes, but however, we could perhaps leverage a photon torpedo with the antimatter device removed and use that as a dispersal mechanism.
Setting off a photon torpedo inside the creature seems...
Well, it would be more of a medical photon torpedo at this point.
Oh, well, then, that's perfectly acceptable. What would be the possibility of, in some sense or in some way, based on what we've learned of the creature's anatomy and its biology, what would be the possibility of enhancing its immune system in some way?
Daring medicine, difficulty of 5, and you get 1 assist on it.
And would this solve our problem because we would know how to fix it, sort of thing?
It wouldn't be instantaneous, but you would at least start to see signs that it is working.
All right, so I can take Daring medicine lead because I have 14 and a focus.
See, I was about to say the same thing, so that's fine.
Oh.
No.
Maybe Vinta's assisting Catellia.
Yeah.
And remember, it is a difficulty of 5, so you've got 5 momentum, you've got determination, probably something you want to spend here.
So it's been a while. Can I use a focus when I assist from?
Yeah, when you assist, you can use a focus.
Okay, good.
It's just that it's 1 die for an assist.
Yeah.
I'm going to use the value of life is most important.
Okay.
And I'm going to spend 5 momentum for all of the beams.
Okay, so if it would be 5 momentum, 1 threat, just to make sure you're okay with that.
Oh no, I'm spending my determination.
Oh yeah, you're right. Thank you. Again, that's a 2E rule, where in 2E it doesn't actually add a 1 die, it just changes a die to a 1, so it's less confusing.
Interesting. Can you do that after the roll?
But okay.
Yeah.
Can you do that after the roll, or?
I think it has to be before the roll in 2E.
I think that's just something we'd have to get used to. Anyway, I'm going to make my roll now.
Okay.
Nice.
7 successes. Very nice. 8 successes. 3 momentum. So, if you allow me to narrate, Catellia and Vinta, you put your heads together, and you basically take all the medical stuff you brought with you, all the extra medical supplies from the Canis Major, and you are able to create because I found it funny, a medical photon torpedo.
Also, what's the captain's response to asking for a disarmed photon torpedo?
That is a good question. How does the captain react to this news?
Sir, yes, we have a tumor here. We need a medical torpedo to be able to deal with it.
And I think that the camera kind of pans, and you see Talarian hook spiders begin to pour out of the vents. It's yours. And the captain just draws a phaser, and the communication cuts off.
Perfect. I love it. I love this B plot.
As one of the cadets go, we should have just vented the atmosphere in this room. Why didn't we do that?
I'm sensing that they would be displeased by that.
I'm displeased by this current state of affairs. And that's the Vulcan, who's currently got like 2 poles and just wailing at Talarian hook spiders.
Yeah, well, on the plus side, though, these things make bloody good eating at the, once, you get the legs.
Oh, we haven't run out of food. How wonderful.
I mean, it's a bit of a sort of, it's as far as, positives and negatives, I think we're sort of weighed out the other way, to be honest, mate. But, something to consider. Put them on a Barbie, bit of lemon juice. Yeah.
Yes, we will have this Bob of the queue.
Yeah, no, it's good enough. Yep. Pew, pew.
Swag, 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 swag.
So while that's going on, you disassemble the warhead of the photon torpedo, and you make it a viral detonation. And then the 3 of you on the away team together push the medical photon torpedo into the membrane of the tumor. Then you take a few steps back, maybe go around the corner of the corridor. You press the remote detonator, and immediately what happens is there's kind of a muffled thump that signifies that the viral agent or the antiviral agent has been dispersed. And you sort of peek your heads back out into the atrium. And what you see is that the flesh that was, again, this very dark purple color is very, very slowly turning back to more of a red or a blue.
Well, that was quite effective. I think we should go over there and just make sure that we get rid of any of these viruses that we can get our hands on.
Agreed.
And just sort of like, when you see like in lower decks, they're cleaning like cell plates with phasers.
Mm-hmm.
Just imagine that, but like, medical phasers.
Okay.
And to be clear, a medical phaser is just a phaser that has a different title.
Yes.
Yes.
I was going to ask if a medical phaser was just a phaser with the Starfleet medical symbol on it.
Exactly. Yes.
So we skip ahead just a little bit where you all beam out of the space whale. The space whale is becoming more normal. It is turning to its normal color. And depending if you want to linger or not, the space whale will get along its merry way. But we have to deal with the B plot now. And if you'll allow me to narrate a narrative end here. You arrive at Alpha Androni 3, and the colony hails and says, "Welcome to Alpha Androni 3. What can I do you for?" And the view screen turns on. What we see is just the captain in disarray, Catalia in disarray. There's parts of Talarian hook spiders everywhere. And there's scorch marks on the consoles and the bulkheads, and it's just a mess. And the colony owner goes, "Well, it looks like you could use a vacation."
Please.
And what we see as our final shot is we see the Canis Major actually landing on the planet. And that is where we will call today's session. So well done, all
add one thing. Catalia would like to try and high-five the 2 nurses because we did a away mission with no doctors and 100% success. So go Team Nurse.
Go Team Nurse. I love it. I love it. But yeah, what'd you all think? This was actually the reason I couldn't read the Megafauna brief on stream, because this is literally a mission brief called Journey to the Center of the Beast.
Classic narrative, really. Mm-hmm. As we all pointed out, with the Pinocchio, Jonah and the Whale style things. What is the title of that, where they go into the patient's body in a submarine?
Inner Space?
No, that famous film.
There's a lot of them is the problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Which
But no, I
one?
mean, I read this mission brief and I thought, you know what? This is a medical campaign. Why not? Yeah, this could make a fun medical drama. And the best part, no Romulans. There were no Romulans
What?
anywhere to be seen.
I
That
don't
we
know.
know of.
I
Well,
think
the Romulans infected it originally. Come on.
Yeah, obviously.
I think the Romulan infiltrator called Romulan John Doe, which was the person that signed off on that food crate, was a saboteur.
I love how you're now paranoid
Romulans.
about secret Romulans sabotaging the Canis Major.
Well, we're not paranoid if we're right.
All right. Well, Twitch, stick around because we're going to raid somebody but YouTube. Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll see you later, YouTube. Bye-bye.
Bye bye.